talking. Okay, go ahead.
So we did immigration as a race. So in 1868, the 14th Amendment clause excluding Indians not taxed prevented Native American men from the right to vote. In 1877, the criminal influence of Chinese immigrants was investigated by the United States Congress. In 1880, about 4 million Italian immigrants came to the United States due to Italy's troubled economy, crop failures, and political turmoil. In 1882, the Chinese Exclusion Act prohibited Chinese from becoming U.S. citizens and stopped Chinese immigration for 10 years. The act was made because of economic fears. Native-born Americans were unemployed, and those who did have jobs suffered declining wages to Chinese workers. In 1907, the Gentleman's Agreement was an agreement between the U.S. and Japan where the U.S. would not force restriction on Japanese immigration, and Japan wouldn't allow any more immigration to the United States.
And what's that instructions? What's that?
That was like, I guess that was posted around, I guess we would call it a flyer, posted around like cities and everything.
Yeah. Be sure you explain some if you don't assume. So that helps you with the approving your cooperation, the annotation of your events, getting your primary documents. That's a primary document. So don't, be sure, remember, this is all cold to your classmates. They haven't seen any of this. So, you're the teacher.
Okay, for race, in 1868, the 14th Amendment was passed stating that all people born in the United States were granted citizenship, and for the first time this included African Americans. In 1870, the 15th Amendment was passed stating that the rights of citizens to vote shall not be denied or abridged on account of race, color, or previous condition of servitude, and therefore it granted African Americans the right to vote for the first time. In 1887, the Dawes Act was passed to break up land reservations set aside for Native Americans into smaller plots of land in order to assimilate Native Americans into a European lifestyle, and then the leftover land was sold. And the Plessy versus Ferguson Supreme Court case, Plessy, who was an African American, was arrested for sitting in an all-white railroad car. She went to court, and the court ruled that Plessy was guilty on the grounds that the law was a reasonable exercise of the state's police powers based upon custom, usage, and the tradition of the state. This was the case that decided that Jim Crow laws and the idea of segregation was constitutional. And Jim Crow laws from the 1880s through the 1960s, Jim Crow laws were used to enforce racist ideals that, if violated, were punishable by law. Some examples of Jim Crow laws include, in Alabama, all passenger stations in the state operated by any motor transportation company shall have separate waiting rooms for space and separate ticket windows for white and colored races. And for education in Florida, schools for white children and schools for Negro children shall be conducted separately. So for changes, the 13th Amendment was passed and ratified in 1865, which abolished slavery. So the change is basically that there was no more slavery, I guess. And in 1868, the 14th Amendment was passed, granting African American citizenship.
And changes for immigration Constitution for the Chinese Exclusion Act and the judgment.
And then continuities for race. Jim Crow laws were examples of continuity in the oppression of the African American race even after the 14th Amendment was passed. And the separate but equal doctrine constitutionalized and permitted the idea of racial segregation.